5 things you should stop saying. Today, close your eyes for a moment and listen, not to me but to the faint echo of your own words, circling back to you like ripples in still water. Every sentence you have ever spoken lingers somewhere, shaping the weight of your energy, bending the course of your life in ways you can't always see. There are words that heal, words that open doors, but there are also words that silently wound you, that invite weakness, fear, and doubt into your inner home. Most of the time, you don't even notice when you give your power away with a single phrase. Imagine waking tomorrow and choosing silence over those phrases. Imagine how much lighter your body feels, how much clearer your mind becomes. Tonight, we enter the hidden temple of language and expose the 5 things you must stop saying today. What if the very words you speak every day are quietly stealing your energy? Not curses, not insults, but ordinary phrases you repeat without thinking. Words that slip off your tongue and seem harmless, yet act like small leaks in the roof of your soul. Every time you say them, a little light escapes, a little strength dissolves. Do you wonder why you feel so drained at the end of the day? Why your spirit feels heavy? Why clarity seems just out of reach? The answer may not be in what others are doing to you, but in what you are doing to yourself with your own words. Monks, sages, and teachers have all whispered the same truth. Language is not just communication, it is creation. When you speak, you are casting spells on your reality. Think of the last time you said, "I can't," or "I'm always unlucky," or "That's just who I am." Did you notice the way your body seemed to sag just a little? The way your chest tightened, or your energy dimmed? These phrases don't just describe your life, they program it. Tonight, we will explore 5 common phrases you must stop saying immediately if you want to protect your energy, guard your spirit, and unlock a higher level of peace. Each one might sound simple, but once you see the hidden damage it causes, you'll never want to use it again. Stay with me until the end, because the last phrase is the one almost everyone says without realizing, and it may be the biggest leak of all. If you stop that one, you may feel your entire life begin to shift within days. And remember, this isn't about silence for its own sake. It's about learning to choose words as carefully as a monk chooses his steps in a sacred hall. Your words can become either a prison or a prayer. By the end of this journey, you will know which is which. What if the very words you speak every day are quietly stealing your energy? Not curses, not insults, but ordinary phrases you repeat without thinking. Words that slip off your tongue and seem harmless, yet act like small leaks in the roof of your soul. Every time you say them, a little light escapes, a little strength dissolves. Do you wonder why you feel so drained at the end of the day? Why your spirit feels heavy? Why clarity seems just out of reach? The answer may not be in what others are doing to you, but in what you are doing to yourself with your own words. Stop saying this. That's not just a thumbnail hook. It is the key to a shift in your inner vibration. Monks, sages, and teachers have all whispered the same truth. Language is not just communication, it is creation. When you speak, you are casting spells on your reality. Think of the last time you said, "I can't," or "I'm always unlucky," or "That's just who I am." Did you notice the way your body seemed to sag just a little? The way your chest tightened, or your energy dimmed? These phrases don't just describe your life, they program it. Tonight, we will explore 5 common phrases you must stop saying immediately if you want to protect your energy, guard your spirit, and unlock a higher level of peace. Each one might sound simple, but once you see the hidden damage it causes, you'll never want to use it again. Stay with me until the end, because the last phrase is the one almost everyone says without realizing, and it may be the biggest leak of all. If you stop that one, you may feel your entire life begin to shift within days. And remember, this isn't about silence for its own sake. It's about learning to choose words as carefully as a monk chooses his steps in a sacred hall. Your words can become either a prison or a prayer. By the end of this journey, you will know which is which. Before we go deeper, let me pause and thank you for being here. This space is not built on numbers but on presence. Every listener who chooses stillness, who chooses reflection, adds to the circle of light we're creating together. If these words resonate with you, let this moment be an exchange. Your presence here is already a blessing, and if you feel called, share a like or a comment, so others searching for peace may also find their way here. Together, we keep the flame alive. There are few phrases more quietly destructive than the words "I can't." They seem innocent, even practical. You tell yourself you can't cook, can't sing, can't meditate, can't change. But underneath those two short words hides an entire belief system that locks the door to your own growth. When you say, "I can't," your body listens. Your nervous system records it as fact. It doesn't question whether the statement is true. It simply lowers your energy, slows your breath. Can't convinces you not to try. But that's not the whole truth most of the time. I can't really means I haven't yet, or I'm afraid. The problem is, the phrase stops you before you even begin. Imagine a child saying, "I can't walk," after falling once. We would smile and say, "Not yet, but you will." Why are you any different? Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a tall stone wall in front of you. On the other side lies the life you long for. Clarity, health, peace. The phrase "I can't" is the cement that keeps that wall solid. But if you whisper instead, "I'm learning," you feel the stones loosen. You see small cracks of light shining through. This is your first tool. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." It's simple but powerful. Each time you shift the phrase, you rewire your inner program. You tell your body and mind that growth is possible. And with repetition, it becomes truth. If this resonates, comment below, "I'm learning." Declare it now so your soul begins to believe it. But that's only the first leak. There are more dangerous phrases that might be draining you even faster. "That's just who I am." The second phrase sounds like self-acceptance, but it often hides resignation. "That's just who I am." You say it after snapping in anger, after avoiding a challenge, after repeating a habit you know keeps you small. It feels like you're being honest, but in truth you're building a cage around your spirit. When you declare "that's just who I am," you stop the story in the middle of its chapter. You freeze yourself in time, as if growth is no longer possible. But Buddhist wisdom teaches that identity is fluid, like water flowing through a riverbed. Who you are today is not who you must be tomorrow. Think of a caterpillar whispering, "That's just who I am," moments before entering the cocoon. If it clung to that identity, it would never grow wings. Here is your second tool. Replace "That's just who I am" with "I'm becoming." These two words carry expansion. They open the door to change. They remind you that identity is not a wall but a bridge. Close your eyes. Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror, watching your reflection breathe. Now see the mirror ripple like water, and a future version of you steps through, calmer, wiser, freer. That is the you who is becoming. But here's the secret most people miss. Every time you defend a limitation with "That's just who I am," you bury your wings a little deeper. Every time you say "I'm becoming," you help them unfold. If you've ever felt trapped by old patterns, type "I'm becoming" in the comments. Let your future self hear it, and yet even deeper than this, there is a phrase that doesn't just trap your identity. It poisons your energy from the inside out. "I'm always unlucky." The third phrase hides in plain sight. "I'm always unlucky." You may not say it out loud, but many whisper it inside after a failure, a rejection, or a missed chance. It feels like a sigh of relief, as if blaming fate makes the pain lighter. But in truth, this phrase is like painting your entire future in gray before the sun even rises. Every time you repeat it, you strengthen a lens of misfortune. Your mind begins to notice only what goes wrong. The parking ticket, the argument, the rain on the one day you left your umbrella at home. Meanwhile, the small blessing, the smile of a stranger, the opportunity that knocked softly, go unseen. But here's the deeper truth. What you call luck is often the alignment between your focus and your choices. Energy flows where attention goes, and when your words focus on misfortune, life mirrors that expectation. Your third tool is this. Replace "I'm always unlucky" with "Life is teaching me." Suddenly, every closed door becomes a lesson, not a curse. Every delay becomes a preparation, not a punishment. Try it now. Think of something that felt like bad luck in your past. Whisper, "Life was teaching me." Feel how the weight shifts from victimhood to wisdom. Instead of being crushed, you stand taller. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that karma is not punishment. It is the unfolding of lessons. When you declare yourself unlucky, you close the book before the teaching arrives. But when you name it a lesson, you open the door for transformation. If you've ever thought of yourself as unlucky, comment "Life is teaching me." Watch how even writing the words begins to reframe your story. And yet, luck is not the only prison built with words. There is another phrase, soft, polite, and almost invisible, that quietly drains your power every day. I'm sorry. For existing. There is a phrase so subtle that most people don't even realize they are saying it. It slips out in conversations, texts, and emails. I'm sorry. Now there is beauty in true apology. But too often you use it not to heal but to shrink. You apologize for being late when you were on time. You apologize for asking a question. You apologize for simply taking up space in the world. Every unnecessary I'm sorry chips away at your spirit. It tells your nervous system, I am wrong for existing. Over time, this becomes a posture of the soul. Shoulders hunched, voice softer, eyes lowered. But that's not the whole truth. You are not here to apologize for breathing. You are here to live fully, to walk with dignity, to take your rightful place in the circle of life. The monks say humility is not shrinking. It is standing tall without arrogance. Here is your fourth tool. Replace I'm sorry when you've done nothing wrong with thank you. Instead of saying I'm sorry I'm late, you say thank you for waiting. Instead of I'm sorry to bother you, you say thank you for your time. Gratitude lifts the energy, while false apology drains it. Close your eyes and imagine walking into a room. Your head is high, your breath steady. Instead of apologizing for being there, you silently affirm, I belong. Watch how the room responds differently to you. If this speaks to you, comment I belong. Declare it so your soul begins to remember, but still, there is one more phrase, perhaps the most dangerous of all. It wears a mask of logic and simplicity, yet it has the power to weaken your spirit every single morning. I'm too busy. The last phrase may feel like simple truth, but it carries hidden poison. I'm too busy. You say it when a friend calls, when a dream whispers, when your own body asks for rest. At first it sounds responsible, but beneath those three words lies a silent confession. My life is not my own. Every time you say I'm too busy, you teach your mind to rush, to scatter, to live only on the surface. You build an identity around constant motion, and you mistake exhaustion for importance. But Buddhist wisdom teaches, when the mind is scattered, the soul cannot bloom. Close your eyes. Picture yourself holding a jar full of water and sand. When you shake it, the water turns cloudy. That's your life when you live in I'm too busy. Now imagine placing the jar down. Slowly, the sand settles. The water clears. This is what happens when you choose presence over busyness. Here is your fifth tool. Replace I'm too busy with it's not my priority. At first, it may sting to say it, but it reveals truth. If your health, your peace, your relationships matter, they must live as priorities. Otherwise, busyness will bury them alive. The next time you hear yourself saying, I'm too busy, pause. Ask, what is my true priority? That question alone can save years of regret. If you've ever felt trapped by busyness, type, I choose presence. Let it be a declaration that your time belongs to you again. And now, with these 5 leaks revealed, let's gather the wisdom and seal the cracks. Because stopping harmful phrases is not just about silence. It's about reclaiming the energy that was always yours. Let's pause here. We've uncovered 5 phrases that silently drain your energy. I'm learning. That's just who I am. I'm becoming. I'm always unlucky. Life is teaching me. I'm sorry and unnecessary. Thank you. I'm too busy. It's not my priority. Already, you may feel lighter just seeing them exposed. Words you once said without thinking now glow like warning lights. And when awareness begins, transformation is never far behind. But here's the secret. The journey is not only about stopping, it is also about replacing. When you strip away the heavy words, you must invite in words that lift, anchor, and heal. Otherwise, silence becomes emptiness instead of power. This is where the revelation begins. Your language is not only shaping your outer life, it is programming your nervous system, your heart, and your spirit. What you say becomes the rhythm of your breath, the posture of your body, the lens of your soul. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your life as a temple. Every word you speak is either a candle you light or a stone you throw against the walls. Which temple have you been building? From here forward, we turn toward hope, toward the words that seal the leaks. Restore your spirit and call your energy back home. If you felt this shift already, share below, I'm calling my energy back. Let those words echo beyond you, but the most powerful transformations are yet to come. Because now we move into the deeper practice, the way to weave silence, awareness, and chosen words into your daily life. The science of language and energy. Why do words hold so much power? Because they don't just stay on your lips. They travel through your entire body. Neuroscience tells us that every phrase you speak sends signals through your nervous system, shaping your posture, your breath, even the chemistry of your brain. When you say, "I can't," your muscles subtly tighten. When you whisper, "I'm unlucky," your heartbeat slows into resignation. But when you affirm, "I'm learning," your body releases small waves of dopamine, the chemical of motivation. Words are not abstract. They are instructions to your biology. But that's not the whole truth. In Buddhism, words are seen as seeds. Every syllable you plant grows into fruit, some bitter, some sweet. If you scatter seeds of apology where none are needed, you grow a forest of guilt. If you plant seeds of gratitude, you harvest resilience. Close your eyes and imagine each phrase you've spoken as a thread of light, leaving your mouth and weaving itself into a tapestry around you. Some threads are dark and heavy, some golden and bright. This is the invisible robe you wear every day. Science calls it neuroplasticity. Monks call it karma. But the essence is the same. Your words carve the path of your becoming. So the question is not only what words should I stop, but also what words will I choose to live in? If this awakens something in you, type below, "I choose golden threads." Let it be your first conscious planting, and yet understanding the science is only the beginning. To truly shift, you must learn how to practice silence with the same devotion you give to speech. The power of silence as medicine. Silence is not the absence of words. It is the presence of energy unbroken by noise. When monks retreat into silence, they are not escaping the world. They are tuning into a frequency too delicate for ordinary speech to carry. Think of the last time you sat in stillness, maybe in nature or late at night. Do you remember how the silence wrapped around you like a blanket? How the air seemed heavier yet more alive? That was not emptiness. That was medicine, but that's not the whole truth. Silence heals because it gives your nervous system a chance to reset. Every unnecessary phrase you speak pulls energy outward. Silence calls it back home. Your breath deepens. Your heart slows. Your mind clears. Close your eyes and imagine this. You are in a quiet temple at dawn. The sun is rising through the paper windows. You sit not speaking, just breathing. With every inhale, you gather the fragments of your scattered energy. With every exhale, you release the weight of words that no longer serve you. This is why silence is celebrated in Buddhist practice. It's not about rejecting conversation, but about remembering that the deepest truths do not require explanation. Tonight, let silence itself be your fourth tool. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of power. A silence that fills you rather than empties you. If you feel this, share below. Silence heals me. Let it be your promise to yourself. And once silence becomes medicine, the next step is learning how to use words sparingly, like drops of pure nectar, to transform not just yourself, but everyone around you. Words as spiritual tools. Once silence clears the soil of your mind, the words you choose next become seeds of power. Not every word deserves to be spoken, but when you speak with awareness, even a single phrase can shift an entire room. Think of the last time someone said, "I believe in you." Just 4 words, yet they lit a fire in your chest. Or the time someone whispered, "You are safe." Notice how your shoulders dropped, your breath softened, your body trusted. Words can be weapons, but they can also be medicine. But here's the hidden truth. You have that same power. In Buddhism, there is the teaching of right speech. It is not only about avoiding lies or cruelty, it is about choosing words that heal, words that uplift, words that reflect clarity. Every time you practice right speech, you are not just helping others, you are polishing your own spirit like a mirror. Close your eyes. Imagine your words as incense smoke curling into the air. Do they carry fragrance or do they choke the room? Every phrase leaves a trace behind. What traces have you been leaving? Here is the shift. Begin to use words not for reaction but for creation. Instead of saying "I'm too busy," imagine saying "I'm making space for what matters." Instead of "I can't," say "I'm learning." Each phrase becomes an offering, not a leak. If this resonates, comment, "My words are medicine." Let it echo not only in this space, but in your daily life. But there is an even deeper tool waiting. one that merges silence and speech into a single practice. The half smile technique there is a practice so simple that it seems almost invisible. The half smile. It is not a forced grin, nor the mask we wear for others. It is a gentle lifting of the lips, just enough to remind your body that peace is possible. In Buddhist tradition, the half smile is a bridge between silence and speech. It calms the nervous system, lowers stress hormones, and signals to your mind, I am safe. Neuroscience confirms this. Even a subtle smile triggers the release of serotonin, the chemical of well-being. But that's not the whole truth. The half smile is also a spiritual signal. It says, I do not need to apologize for existing. I do not need to rush to prove myself. I choose to rest in being. Close your eyes. Place your hand gently over your heart. Allow your lips to soften into a faint smile. Feel how your breath deepens, how your chest opens, how your mind quiets. This is not performance. This is presence. The next time you're tempted to say, I can't, or I'm too busy, pause. Instead, breathe and allow the half smile to rise. Notice how the urge to leak energy through words begins to dissolve. This is your fifth tool, a practice without language but full of communication. It is the smile of the Buddha, the smile of someone who knows storms will pass. If you feel this, right below, I carry the half smile. Let it remind you that peace can live in your body before it ever reaches your lips. And yet, we are not finished, because the half smile leads to a deeper mastery, learning to hear the silence behind words, and to speak only when your heart aligns with your truth. Hearing the silence behind words, most people listen only for noise, the chatter, the arguments, the endless opinions. But beneath every word lies a field of silence, and if you can hear that silence, you touch truth. When someone criticizes you, listen not to the sting of their words, but to the silence beneath them. Often that silence reveals their own pain. When someone flatters you, listen not to the sweet sound but to the silence underneath. There you find their longing to be seen. But that's not the whole truth. The deepest part of communication is not what is spoken, but what is left unsaid. Monks learn to bow to silence before they speak. Why? Because silence is the teacher, and words are only the students. Try this now. Imagine you are sitting with someone you love. Instead of rushing to fill the space, allow a long silence to stretch between you. At first it may feel heavy, but slowly the silence becomes alive. You can feel each other's presence more deeply than words could carry. This practice changes everything. Suddenly arguments dissolve because you no longer need the last word. Misunderstandings fade because you hear not just the voice, but the soul behind it. If this awakens something in you, type I hear the silence. Let it become your reminder to listen beyond sound. And once you learn to hear silence, the final step is to speak from it, to let your words rise like ripples from a still pond, carrying only truth, only clarity, only love. Speaking from stillness is different from speaking from habit. When you pause, breathe, and let silence cradle your words, each phrase becomes like a bell in a temple, clear, steady, and full of presence. Imagine a pond at dawn. When the water is calm, even the smallest ripple travels far. But when the surface is stormy, no reflection is possible. Your words are the same. If you speak from stillness, they carry wisdom. If you speak from turbulence, they scatter without meaning. But that's not the whole truth. Stillness is not about silence alone. It is about alignment. Before you speak, ask yourself, do these words come from fear or from clarity? Do they build or do they break? This one question can transform every conversation you have. Close your eyes and picture your breath as a lantern. Inhale, the light fills you. Exhale, the light moves into your words. Now, when you speak, your words are not empty. They shine. This is the culmination of everything we've explored. Stop saying the phrases that drain your spirit. Replace them with words that carry life. Practice silence as medicine. Use the half smile as anchor. Listen for the silence beneath words. And finally, let stillness be the soil from which all your speech grows. If you feel this, right below, I speak from stillness. Let it echo as your vow. And now, let us close this journey with a final reflection, a return to the heart of why words matter, and how your soul can reclaim its energy forever. Every time you speak, you are shaping the architecture of your soul. The words you choose are not accidents, they are blueprints. And now you know which 5 phrases silently drained your strength. I can't. That's just who I am. I'm always unlucky. I'm sorry when you've done nothing wrong. And I'm too busy. Each of them was a small leak in the temple of your spirit, but tonight you have learned to seal those cracks. You now carry tools that transform. I'm learning, I'm becoming. Life is teaching me, thank you, and it's not my priority. Words that build instead of break. Words that open instead of close. Words that carry you forward instead of chaining you to the past. And beyond words, you have discovered silence, the half smile, the stillness beneath every sound. These are not just practices, they are living companions. They remind you that you never have to leak energy through careless speech again. Close your eyes now. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of your life. Behind you are years of phrases spoken in fear, in doubt, in apology. Ahead of you stretches a path lit with the golden threads of new language, gentle silence and chosen speech. Which path will you walk? The monks remind us the tongue can be a sword or a lotus. You decide which you will carry. So let me leave you with this question. What part of this message spoke to your soul the most? Was it the power of silence, the healing of gratitude, or the reminder that you are always becoming? Share your reflection below, because your words here may be the spark that lights another soul's path. If this message touched you, consider liking and subscribing for more Buddhist wisdom, so that together we continue weaving this circle of presence. And if you're ready to go even deeper, I invite you to watch our next video. Remember, every word you choose is either a leak or a light. Tonight, choose light.